Okay, the LG GT-350, which is quite a mouthful, and I really think they could give it something a little more snappy. It combines a touch and a QWERTY keyboard in a very nice little package, and does have email and social networking functionality. It's an all-rounded package, but aimed at the sort of medium or mid-market level, with youngsters in mind in particular. Yeah, the device is quite easy to set up. It did ask me to configure the touch screen, which I haven't done on other phones, and I found a bit strange. But once you've done that, and it only takes about 30 seconds, you're good to go. You set up the time and date quite simply. I did struggle from time to time to get from screen to screen, but it just takes a few days of fiddling and you'll learn the ins and outs of the phone. Well, I mean, it runs everything to be expected at this level of the market. It's got a clear voice, nice sound. It runs MP3 ringtones, a few social networking apps, and email, and obviously messaging. It also has an integrated camera at the back with flash. Sure, as I said, it's got a camera. It's only a 2 megapixel camera, which is fine for sharing and digital photos. You're not going to want to print that. It does allow you to play music, and it has a headphone jack, so it can certainly act as an MP3 player. And as part of that, it's got a little micro SD slot for you to extend the memory. The software, I think, lets it down a tiny bit. It's got a very nice screen, so it shows the user interface very well, but it's clearly designed for, in my mind, teenage girls. It's got a very cartoony feel. The default font looks like Comic Sans, which annoyed me endlessly, and I had to change immediately. But it does what it needs to do. I just don't think it's got a business person in mind from a user interface perspective. I think it's a great little design phone. It fits nicely in the palm of your hand. It's got really pretty rounded edges. As I said, the screen is really clear and crisp. I'm not a huge fan of the keyboard. It runs on these little bubble keys, and it's hard to get up any real pace when you're composing messages. They're actually very similar to the Kindle keys. If anyone's used a second generation Kindle, the only thing I would say is that on a Kindle you're not expected to write a hell of a lot, but if you are, say, a 14-year-old girl using this phone, you're probably going to be texting day in and out. And I think slightly higher megapixels on the camera would have been nice, especially for this age gap, because they are very digitally minded. They are going to be wanting to take pictures of their friends and share them. I think the hardware is lovely. The slide works very well. As I said, I love the design of the phone. It feels very high-end, but it's actually under $2,000, which is very nice if you're trying to provide your teenager with a phone. I think that the software lets it down a tiny bit. It doesn't quite speak to the same level as the hardware does.